Welcome back, everybody, to the weekly members podcast. Everybody starts off with a good chuckle, it looks like this week. Good to see everybody here. Good to see Kyle back. Been on hiatus, him and the rest of Philadelphia.
Oh,
So
boy.
glad that you decided to show up to a podcast based out of your city. So, Christy, appreciate being a stalwart here.
Got
You'll
you.
be rewarded with your own segment here on F1 here in a bit.
Beautiful.
Going to be definitely a lot of talk tonight about college basketball, the first two rounds. I mean, the one thing that happened is the blue-colored blue bloods, there's of like the five, there's only one left, the one that nobody wants to be there. We'll get into that. We don't have to mention those ones that didn't make it, talk crap about the one that did, and then some of the other teams that are in there. But I want to start off, and I'm not accepting comments until I'm completely done with my segment. Everyone will have their time, but I want to make comments on my own statement first. And this, it's still sports related. Let me move my little bubble here so I can see the reaction from the producer. It does, because I think both of you have probably seen it a little bit. But again, no comments yet. So this comes from the world of Cornhole. Yeah, the whole segment is one big without any. So apparently there was this gentleman, lives in Maryland, I believe. He's a quadriplegic, 3 years old. Doctor had to chop off his legs and his arms just barely above the elbow. Had 3% chance of living. He did live, and he actually competes professionally in cornhole. I had seen him play before, and it's pretty masterful how he will sit there and do it. And like I said, it's like just above the elbow, so his elbows are like where our wrist would be, and essentially just kind of slings it, and he's freaking good. He's pretty darn good. So he was with some of his cornhole buddies, and I don't know what happened, but there were four of them. He had two guys in the back and one in the passenger seat. Of all things, first of all, he was driving. We'll start there. Not sure I feel after the conversation we had before this started. I'm not sure how comfortable I feel with that or how feasible it is. Got into an argument with the passenger. Okay, shoots him dead with the gun that I don't know how he can drive and hold a gun in the first place. Shoots him dead. Seems crazy, and then all these videos pop up that he actually is quite the marksman, shows him with all sorts of different guns and the range and how he does it. So I have questions about how all this gets put together, but a couple of questions. I have three things about it. One, would you consider him unarmed and dangerous? I would like to know how you cuff him, because what happened was the two people in the back, he stopped the car and told them that he wanted help getting the body out and to get rid of the body. And they said no, and they got out of the car and ran and got the cops. Obviously wasn't, it's like the exact opposite of having a bear chase you. Like you are so far ahead of whatever is chasing you that it doesn't matter. So that, and he has no identifying fingerprints. So how is he in the system? Those are my three things about that. And that's before the fact that he's a quadriplegic cornhole player professionally, that he was driving, that of four people, someone decided he was the best one to drive. And third, he somehow was driving, didn't wreck the car, and managed to shoot the passenger dead. Those three things. So I have three comments about those three, after those three scenarios are not the craziest part about it. So he's going down for first degree and second degree. I can't remember. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what the difference is, but probably not going to go all that well for him. But anybody have any comment on that? I am now done.
Well, thank you, first of all, for making us all go to hell for laughing at what you said.
Even though I have to admit I did the exact same thing yesterday when I read the article and asked, well, I didn't ask the fingerprint question, but I was like, why was he driving? How
Yeah,
was he driving?
yeah,
How did he shoot the gun? And then I just love the fact that he asked the guys in the back seat to help him with the body. I thought that that was great. And they were like,
yeah.
nope,
And
excuses.
they were just like, nope,
I'm out.
we've seen enough. I mean, I'm glad he didn't turn around or whatever and end up shooting them. But I saw videos of him shooting at a range and shooting even like a rifle, not just a handgun. He's able to do it. This was the only time he was that I've seen him not smiling while shooting somebody because he seemed to love it. When he, I mean, obviously there's very few things that he probably can do exceptionally well, um, including eating and putting his clothes off. So if you can shoot a gun, play cornhole, probably be pretty happy. Can't imagine how that conversation went that south. So
So I got questions too. I mean, there's four people, right? So there's four of us, right? Um, including the producer, right? So at what point do you like if you're fully able-bodied human, do you think, okay, let's have this guy drive us? That's the first question I have. Like you're three other people in the car that are able-bodied, and you go, yeah, this what could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? Let's let him drive. Just weird. Now, granted, it was a Tesla, so maybe he had it on autopilot. Maybe that's how he was able to shoot him too. I don't know. Maybe he had the self-driving thing going on, and that's just how it worked. Um, Number two, when he asked the guys in the back seat to help him, you just saw him shoot somebody. Why would you like? I'm not saying you help, but do you think they're in their right frame of mind to be like, nah, we're good. We're going to get out of the car. You're not going to chase us, clearly. So we're just going to get out of the car and run. But, like, you just saw him shoot somebody. Do you not think that he's capable of shooting you, too? Like,
so here's the
that
thing:
was
if
my
he's in the
first
front,
thought on that.
if I'm the passenger that's right behind him, I do not think he's capable of shooting me.
Fair. Okay.
As a
All right.
matter
I
of
see where you're
fact,
going with that from a scientific perspective and, like,
yeah,
with the
the
angles. Yeah.
the
Okay.
guy diagonal on the back, you better have gotten out quick first. But I think
Yeah,
that
because the guy
maybe
directly behind him, you're right. Yeah, that's a fair point. That's a fair point. I mean,
so.
can he put the seat back and like? Yeah, never
I
mind.
mean,
This is going down a rabbit hole.
bullets go through seats. I mean, it's, it's not like he had
Yeah, I
bulletproof
know, but you got to
seats.
get it. No, I mean, I
It
we may have
I mean, look,
exhausted
I
might
will
be
say
everything.
easier. It could be easier for
I've
him.
seen I've seen videos of him playing cornhole, and he's a hell of a shot.
Yeah,
No pun intended. No pun intended. He's a hell of a shot. He was great corner. I think he won a couple championships, and now he'll probably end up winning them in jail. So good for him. He'll be the
yeah,
cornhole champion in jail.
you definitely killed that comment for sure. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but
So
to if I could throw something out too. Saturday morning I woke up and I'm drinking my coffee and I turn on ESPN the Ocho and I think I posted this in the chat, but donk toss. Has anybody seen donk toss?
I
No.
have. Isn't that
They're they're
the blow
tossing
not blow up, but like the
inflatable
donkey?
donkeys.
Yeah,
Yes. Yes. Inflatable donkeys at Target. Pretty much a bullseye. And they have to get them to lean on their snout in order for it to be a point. And and they're like, this is like cornhole meets backyard beer games. And I'm like, I I want to know who the drunk person was that said, this is a good idea. Let's take our kids' inflatable toys and throw them at a target in the middle of the yard, and we'll call it donk toss.
Well,
pretty sure that
there's that
sounds
pig
exactly
game.
like what white people in a trailer park would do.
There's
If
that
you,
pig game
yeah,
Like
that's like dice.
toilet seat cover horseshoes, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's where that kind of stuff originates.
But
yeah,
have you ever seen that pig game where you shake the pigs out of the barrel and how they land is how you score points, and if they land on their snout, or if they're on all four.
Yeah,
Like, I'm assuming that was what they were basing it off of. I've never
yeah,
seen it, but the Ocho, man, they've got some great things. My two favorite things are the juggling dodgeball, where you've got jugglers behind the guys playing dodgeball, and whoever's got the most stuff in the air at the end. And then I think I posted it in the Discord, the pillow fighting championship, where there are
yeah, yeah.
grown men in a boxing ring beating each other with pillows.
But the thing that kills the pillow fight to me is it's bad. It's like karate, where it's based on skill. You're not, you're getting points for actually making contact.
But it's
Now,
two
I mean,
grown men hitting each other with a pillow.
yeah, that's why. I mean, I take a point away for that one. But I mean, it's better than like slippery stairs and stuff like that. But
Oh, but
Oh,
that's
hey,
so
hey,
fun to
hey.
watch. That is the best hour on television in the bar when that's
And
on.
have you seen Pop Darts? Have you seen the new Pop Darts? Like where they're like, you know, not to get X-rated or anything, but they're these little rubber plastic thing. It's very weird when you look at them. Google it. I'm not going to get into it. We're a PG show. But you throw them and they stick to a table. Basically, they stick to
oh
the
yeah,
table, and
Mhm.
that's how you
throw
get
them at
points. Close.
throw them
Yeah,
at bald guys and stuff.
yeah, yeah. So they had that championship on Saturday, and the person that won was a 13-year-old kid. So have you like if you're winning a championship on ESPN2 or ESPN Ocho, right? At 13, is that your peak in life? Like, is that it? Like, where do you go from there? Where do you go from there? And his dad was the guy he beat in the semifinals. So like that's it. So like your whole family is like that's your peak, right? Like that's it, right? His dad and him are battling each other in the semifinals. He beats his dad's ass. Like he whoops him in the semifinal. He beat him like 21-3. And then he goes on to the championship while his dad's like recording it on his cell phone, I guess for his mom that couldn't make it because they could only afford 2 tickets to the Pop Darts championship. Um but like, what do you have to peak at that point? Like, where do you go from there? Like, where do you go? You can't go anywhere. Like, that's it. That's the
Well, I mean,
epitome. You're done at
I thought the
13.
legacy of my family was going to be when I got a medal in the Olympics, or at least qualified for curling. Now, and some of you may think that I kind of overcooked my abilities, but there were two other opportunities that I saw after the Olympics came the Special Olympics, which we did talk about. Not to be outdone by the Paralympics, which does have curling. First of all, you're in a wheelchair, you take a broom, and you just push the rock, and that's it. Like it's not even shuffleboard because you're just sitting down. You literally just go whoop, and you're sitting. And I was like, I guarantee I can do that. There is no doubt about that. I guarantee. I mean, sitting down like I am right now, it's just like pressing the remote. You do it 1,000 times, I can close my eyes and I know where all the buttons and where it goes. So
Wow. Wow.
We found a sport for
I'm not.
Paul.
I mean, for that one, I'm going to need to. I don't know. I think I need to stand in front of Alec Rickman riding a motorcycle in his neighborhood going 30 miles an hour to turn me into a paraplegic before I'd be able to do that naturally. But until then, I'm going to just assume that every time I sit down that I have currently qualified to be in the Paralympic curling competition.
So I have a couple things, right? So the Paralympics, who won the gold medal in hockey? Does anybody know?
Was it the U.S. again? I know
It
that
was
the
the U.S.
U.S.
They beat Canada again. So that's
Oh, yeah, that's right.
three
I did see
three
that.
gold medals against Canada in hockey. They couldn't
Those
even beat us
games,
in the Paralympics.
the Paralympic hockey, ice hockey, is fantastic to watch.
It is. It really is.
I That's awesome how they move around like that. Absolutely awesome.
Yep. Yep.
I
And
mean,
my
some of them have
second
two
thing,
legs, some of them have one leg, but equal playing fields, and it's great.
wow. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, we're gonna pivot a little bit. Um,
What's
you
wrong with
brought up
that?
you brought up Alan Rickman, aka
You
Jack
like how
Reacher.
I slid that in there. I want to talk about it, but it wasn't too sports related.
I know, but I'm gonna make it sports related. Like if you saw like if anybody's watched Jack Reacher, like Jack Reacher's a big dude. So if you
He
saw him
scares.
riding a dirt bike in your neighborhood, What would possess you to stand in front of him and yell at him? Like he's like 6'4", like 280 of solid
Yeah,
rock. Like
he would
what are you
scare a
thinking?
silverback gorilla away. Like George of the Jungle or whatever, or Rampage. What happened to George? Like, and The Rock. Like, he would scare George. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, George 3 days after injecting the juice. Like, he is so scary. And he told the guy, and I was like, if you watch his head, because he had his good, thank God for he has his own camera.
Yeah, his GoPro
Because the
or
only
dash
video
cam.
anybody from the media wants to show is the second time he got off his bike. Not the first time where the guy ran out in front of him and stopped him and he almost wrecked. I think he did. He did lay the bike down,
Hmm.
which I'm sure no rider liked to do. And it was not a dirt bike. That was a crotch rocket. His kids had dirt bikes behind him.
Well, that was
He
the other
definitely,
thing too. It was in front of his kids, so like that was like the guy tried to like make him wreck basically in front of his kids. That was bad things, bad things.
yeah. But he was really just going to tell him off and tell him, like, what are you doing? You must be drunk or something. And then let it go and got back on. And he started again and was like, well, can't let you go twice. You're going to, it's like, he turns into Charles Barkley all of a sudden, where, sorry, which is one
He,
of my favorite stories. One of my
you know what
favorite
he looked
stories.
like?
And he just
He looked like a
rekindled it
brick.
recently.
He looked like brick. The way he was, he hit him with like a two-piece combo and dropped the
Yeah.
guy.
Oh, and like if you look at the guy, like he's got like here and here. It's like, how big was that fist? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it was like you've got an entire like forearm of your finger, like right up here, and it's just a big raspberry, and then down there.
Yep.
Guy's talking to me. It's like, well, I just walked up on him, wanted to tell him. No, that's not what happened. Thank God for the dash cam on there. But yeah, I mean that's ridiculous. I, but I'm
I
glad
agree.
we were able to talk about that for sure. Before we get into college basketball, and actually before that, we'll let Christy get in and talk about how F1 is starting this season. I did want to talk about one of the greatest Sixers, maybe the greatest, probably the greatest 76er of all time. Incoming obligation, by the way, Kyle. No thanks to you at
Okay.
all. Yeah, you did not help. You were the Randy of this situation for sure. Just for
Wow.
instigated with nonsense is what you did. So I want to talk a little bit about Wilt Chamberlain. Uh, yeah. Probably the best Sixer of all time, I'm going to say. So even for you kids out there that want to believe in AI, uh, artificial intelligence, Andre Iguodala, or Allen Iverson, um, we're still talking about Wilt Chamberlain being the best Sixer of all time, top three center of all time, along with people from his sort of generation of Bill Russell, and then a little bit later, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, followed by all the young guys like Hakeem and Shaq, but still up there. Definitely one of the greatest players of all time. And that's as far as I'm going to have to go, as far as I can go. Definitely a top 10 player of all time. Definitely one of the greatest players of all time. And I'll say that he's a top three center of all time.
Okay. Are
I
you
think I
rage
made it.
baiting? Is that what you're trying to do?
No, I you were not drinking on Friday. You should know why I'm doing all of this. It's literally for one of your family members.
Oh, I know. I know. And he texted
Oh,
me today and wanted to know where his cheesesteak egg rolls were.
no, he didn't because
Yes,
you
he
had
did.
him
He texted me.
convinced well, no, because he said he was looking for his tater tots.
Either way, you did not pay for them, and he's very upset with you. So I'm glad you did bring up Will Chamberlain. That'll at least appease him a little bit, even though you backhanded complimented Wilt Chamberlain in some capacity. Um, for those that are just tuning in and don't know the story, Wilt Chamberlain is considered by some the greatest NBA player of all time. Um, Other people will argue that Wilt Chamberlain played against plumbers and science teachers. Um, I mean, no disputing that, but at the same time, that's not his fault, right? That's not his fault.
No.
Um, when you average 50 points and 25 rebounds in a season, there's so many records of Wilt Chamberlain's that'll never be broken. Um, and before our lovely producer can chime in and say something about Jordan, I saw this funny stat last night that Kevin Durant just passed Michael Jordan on the all-time scoring list and did it in like 2,000 less shots. And he's the only two-time scoring champion to average less than 20 shots a game. So think about that. Think about that. So, just throwing that out there, not to pivot from Wilt, but, that just adds to everybody else's argument about Jordan not being the greatest of all time.
But
And just on the record, I didn't say one way or the other. I'm just
in contrast. What year is LeBron in?
21, I think, or 22.
And how many seasons did Jordan play?
13.
And LeBron only has like 10, 20% more points than him. 20, 30%.
I never said anything about LeBron. I never said anything about LeBron.
Well, I'm just putting another in there for Jordan.
Listen, we as sports fans, we can debate as much as we want. Different eras, it's all subjective in my opinion. I mean, when you talk about greatest all-around player, when you have to talk about defense, you talk about, certain other skills. I mean, there's so many different avenues you can go down. The sad reality is this. I think God-given talent, I think LeBron probably could have been the greatest of all time with God-given talent. Athletic ability with his size and everything else, the way he could physically dominate on a basketball court, he just didn't have the mentality or the heart. If you add Kobe and Jordan's mentality and heart into LeBron's body, greatest player of all time.
100%.
I would say absolutely zero question, because you would add shooting, you would add defense, and you would ensure that your players get better, that you make you make your players better.
Yep.
Those three things I think are lacking. If someone takes you out of the game for defensive purposes, or you're not the one getting the last shot, just like Coach said on in the replacements, winners want the ball at the end of the game.
Yeah.
Footsteps Falco got it, and what happened? So
great movie.
Great reference. Yep, great reference.
I'm full of them. So I want to take the next couple of minutes, or however long it takes. You can have as long as you want. Chrissy, I want you to talk to us about F1 this year so far. I haven't been watching too much. I want to root for the Cadillac team because we finally have like a U.S. team that like isn't part of any, like a sub part of some other, like Cadillac's going to be Cadillac. But you told me not to do that yet because they're absolutely terrible and can't even keep a car on there and actually compete. So tell me about F1. What's going on?
We're 2 races in. Race 3 will be this weekend. It's a whole new F1 now. So the cars are different. They are lighter. They are a little bit smaller. They have changed a whole bunch of stuff. So like, I don't want to get too in depth. I'll kind of like layman's this for everybody to make it easy to understand. Open wheel racing is very dangerous. And these guys have a lot of safety precautions around them and stuff like that in the cars. And because like the reason I'm an F1 fan is Ayrton Senna. And unfortunately he died in an F1 car. And the reason the guys have the halos that are around them now is because of Ayrton. And a lot of people were against it, but I have seen it save Lewis Hamilton's life. I have seen it save Max Verstappen's life. It's been a godsend to the sport. But in that, the cars got a little bit heavy and a little bit bulky throughout the years with safety precautions. So now this year they have a whole new car. It's a lot more fuel efficient, like sustainable fuel. They're relying a lot more on electric since there's such a push to move vehicles to electric cars and step away from gas. And then, like I said, it's smaller, it's lighter. It's easier for the 2-wheel racing to be side by side and a lot closer. They're trying to make F1 a lot more competitive with the changes they've made. Because if you do watch races, a lot of times there's big, huge gaps that nobody's ever going to be able to close up on. I mean, when you're a minute and 13 seconds back from the leader, like you're not making that up. But so they got rid of what's called DRS. There used to be DRS zones, whereas as long as you're within 1 second of the driver that's ahead of you, you can employ DRS in the zone, which opens up the back flap.
Yeah, I didn't know that went away.
Yep. So they got rid of DRS, and what they did is they changed it to active aero. So it's active aerodynamics. So now the front wing and the back wing open. And there's certain spots that you can do that. And it's meant to give you more control and speed variation and to allow for a lot more racing, as opposed to just opening up that back flap and just flying past the guy and it's nothing fun to watch. So they're trying to make it exciting.
So they didn't really remove it. They enhanced it.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's less downforce, there's less dirty air, so that's going to allow you to be closer to race side by side with each other and not want to stay so far away so that you're in clean air. So it's going to allow for a lot more overtaking, which we have seen in the first 2 races. I mean, and then there was a sprint race as well. It was so much fun. Like that sprint race, Lewis and Russell were back and forth trading first and second. Like it was really cool to see all of these effects take place right away and to see a way more competitive front half of the field. A lot of teams are still trying to figure this out. Cadillac coming in on this year as a brand new team. Like I said, I would love to see them get their poop in a group, as I like to say, and figure it out with that being, an American team, as well as Haas is an American team because Gene Haas is here in the States. But I mean, they're doing a little bit better, but some of these teams are struggling really bad. There's some teams that can't even keep a car out for a full race with this new car because the vibrations are so bad the drivers can't handle it. So, I mean, we'll see. I love that there's like they have to be a lot more strategic now because you have to have like your management of your battery. So like if you want to pass, you better have at least 50 to 70% of your battery in order to pass somebody. If not, you have to recharge and you have to be smart about when you're going to overtake and do all of that stuff. So Mercedes and Ferrari have definitely got it figured out right away. I'd say that McLaren is a close third behind them in figuring this out. And then unfortunately, Red Bull's probably the 4th team, I would say, that has got it figured out for this whole new car style. So it's been really exciting. It's been a lot of changes. It's been a lot closer. Like I said, you don't see the huge gaps that you used to see between first place and 10th place as far as amount of seconds that are holding them apart. So it's fun. It's going to get more and more interesting, especially now that the drivers are figuring everything out with a couple of races under their belt. And I'm excited for the season. I love it.
Do you think that like because I know like with normal NASCAR and just everything else, even video games, right? Like the simulation of it. So like, is it one of those things that you can simulate this type of thing so the drivers get more used to it, or is it just literally like trial and error?
Their sims are ridiculous, and the amount of laps that these drivers put in on their sims, they're like identical to being in an F1 car. I mean, if you go back and watch, I want to say like the first or second season of Drive to Survive, I think it's George Russell as he was just starting. It's either him or Oscar Piastri, but they're driving literally with their eyes closed through the course and can tell you, I'm here, I need to brake. I'm here, I need to turn. I'm here. Like they know those courses like the back of their hand with their eyes closed. They're phenomenal at what they do. I mean, watching hairpin turns at 60 miles an hour is just insane to me what these guys do with these cars and how dangerous it is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So they spend a
That's why I was
lot
wondering.
of time in the sims, and then they spend a lot of time too in preseason testing and get a lot of laps down in the car and stuff like that and try to fix what they can. And then they get upgrades throughout the season to improve the car. So I think once Ferrari gets their upgrades, they might be even closer to Mercedes, and it's been fun. Love watching those guys.
Nice.
So where's your boy Lewis this year?
I mean, he's got 2 podiums already, so I'm not mad. Right behind Mercedes, but he's got 2 podiums, so 2/3. But second season with a new team is usually when he wins his world championship. So fingers crossed, world championship for Lewis this year. But yeah, don't.
Are you saying from a capital gain perspective, we should maybe throw some capital gains on Lewis to do it?
I would wait until we at least get to like their summer break which is like August time, because you start to see upgrade packages before that, and then you'll really fully, they put them in what's called like parc ferme, where they're not allowed to touch them. So over summer break, they can't touch the cars, they can't be in the cars, they can't do anything. They literally have to take like a 3-week break, and then they come back and start racing again. That's where then the second half of the season is where I would say if Ferrari made the upgrades that you need to, hell yes, 110% on Lewis, because that man, you talk about winning mindset and mentality and just having a natural knack for the sport. That's that guy right there. I mean, if you ever want to watch my next guest with David Letterman and watch the Lewis Hamilton episode, it will give you so much respect for him and the sport and just the way that his brain works and everything that he does. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, my uncle says that he's the Wilt Chamberlain of F1.
He's the winningest F1 driver ever. So
he's one of the best at his position in the franchise that he's known for playing in.
Ever.
That's pretty good.
Ever.
It's pretty good.
So, are you more confident in your Masked Singer knowledge, or that Lewis will win a title this year?
Oh, geez, Kyle.
I come with the hard questions here. It's hard hitting questions.
I mean, 44. There's Lewis right there. If this upgrade packages that come on for Ferrari do what I think they're going to do, yes, I will say this is title year for Lewis. But I also am 110% confident in the 4 people that are left on the Masked Singer that I know who they are. So even though I have somebody trying to tell me I'm wrong on the person who I think is going to win the whole thing, and they're making me second guess myself. The last time I second guessed myself, I changed my answer and I was right the first time around. So I'm sticking with it. Pug Casso is Anthony Ramos and he deserves to win the show. I said,
listen, it's just like a multiple choice SAT question. Never second guess yourself. Go with your gut. Go with your first instinct.
I know.
So after we get off this pod, I'm gonna hit a futures capital gains bet on Lewis Hamilton to win the F1 title.
Beautiful.
I'm doing it.
I love it.
And if I'm wrong, so be it. But
all right.
I'm going to take your word for it, and I'm going to have faith in Ferrari to make the adjustments by the summer break.
If anybody's going to make them, it's going to be Ferrari. And then, I mean, Lewis drove for Mercedes and won a bunch of his titles with Mercedes, and they're literally like, the podium was awesome because it was 2 Mercedes drivers, and then Lewis and Toto Wolff, who is the Mercedes team principal, was like, oh, all 3 of my drivers are up there, but one's in red because, Lewis was with him for so long and their relationship is so cool. And then Bono, who is his race engineer, was up there with the 3 of them. So it was cool to see all of that. I love it. And
to bring it full circle, do you think the champion cornhole player that just had his issue, do you think he could drive an F1 car?
I don't see why not. I mean, they essentially drive themselves with all the different like buttons and stuff like that. Like, I mean, it's like it's the same thing as like bobsledding. Like, it's all about knowing the track more than everything else is just electronic at that point.
There's a lot of buttons. So I would say no, he could not drive an F1 car because all the different things they have to do to.
Oh, it looks like a cockpit of an airplane. There's 1,000 knobs in there just on the little steering wheel thing. Like, it's unbelievable.
It looks like a PlayStation controller, and it literally pops out, pops in, and then you've got all of your buttons everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation controller with a built-in Xbox controller on it. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's overwhelming when you just like see pictures of it. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
You cannot be dumb and be an F1 driver, that's for sure.
No. And you got to be in shape. Let's not cut them short.
God,
you know what I mean? Like, you have to be in real good shape.
Yeah, the G's that those guys take and the position that your body is in that car and everything else, and then they get weighed before and after. I mean, the amount of weight you lose and everything else with those guys, like you watch them work out, they work out their necks because of the G-forces they're taking with like granite helmets on to hold and move back and forth to handle all of that. They're insane. They are super conditioned athletes.
Well, most of those like suits that they wear, right, if you call that's what you call them, right? You call them suits. Like, they're similar to like a fireman's suit. Like, they're flame retardant in some capacity, so they're they're not exactly like you're not wearing warm up pants like it's basketball. You know what I mean? Like they're heavy.
Yeah.
So and the stress and everything. Like I think I read somewhere, and you'll probably be able to correct me, but like some of these guys lose like 8 to 10 pounds of water weight during a race.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, that's why they get weighed before
Crazy.
and after, because you have to maintain a certain weight. So yeah, I mean, like they joke about like, have you ever peed while you've been on like during an F1 race? Like, what happens if you have to pee and whatever else? And they're like, sometimes you got to think about it because you can't lose that weight, or you'd be
Yeah,
underweight for the rules because they're super strict. So
it's crazy.
yep.
Yeah, and besides the suits being flame Randy, I would say that it's also like some of the stuff you have to go through with I saw Maverick was on yesterday, and they were talking about like the simulators on there with the G forces, the things that would normally make somebody pass out. You're not physically able to even hold your head up. All these things that come in because even though like open wheel racing, like the fact that you hold this, and I know that your hands are exposed, you've got gloves, but still any little rock that comes off the car in front of you and hits you right in the finger is literally like being hit with a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
So being able to do that and be able to some of those, the environment, the conditions right there are, I mean, to me, like rival what it takes to be a fighter jet pilot.
Well, yeah, Lewis
And
had
how do
something
you?
to do with Maverick too, and they actually offered him a role in the movie, but because it was during F1 season, he couldn't do it. And he said the one thing he regrets is turning that down, and that he would have somebody else sub in as a driver for him if he ever got offered it again. And then he actually they raced the fighter jet versus an F1 car when they were filming Maverick. So that was
That I remember.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, I have to ask who won.
Who do you think won?
Well, the fighter
The
jet. I
F1
mean,
car, right?
yeah,
The F1
yeah,
car, clearly. Yeah,
yeah, right.
Not even a question. Not even a question.
Yeah.
What up, everybody? The Beard is here. Hey, I want to give a quick shout out to one of our sponsors, the law offices of William P. Harrington. Credit card litigation, Chapter 7 bankruptcy, estate planning, estate administration, guardianships, they do it all. As a member, listener, follower, supporter of our network, they are offering you a 15% discount on these services. So if you are in the Pennsylvania or New Jersey area, schedule your free consultation today.
Hey everyone, thanks for listening. Just a few quick reminders for everybody. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Michael Jordan is the GOAT. And check out our fellow podcaster, Jim Montgomery, with This Day in Philly Sports History. Thank you.
All right, so let's get to our final segment here, which is going to start off with some breaking news, of course. As I predicted, Hubert Davis is out as the coach at North Carolina now, as of 5 minutes ago. So I think I'm relieved. I don't know who to get. Got to be outside of the Carolina family for the first time in forever. I don't know what happens to our top 10 recruit and his brother who plays at Penn State, who's not too shabby himself. But whoever it is, I hope they throw a bunch of money at the team and we can get somebody else's good players. How about that?
Do you both think that they're going to go outside of the Carolina family?
I don't have a clue who they could get that's in the Carolina family that is established enough and is respected enough as a coach. There's nobody on the bench.
Who did you say?
Jerry Stackhouse, Kenny Smith, or Jerry Stackhouse? Jerry Stackhouse was a disaster at Vanderbilt. He'd be perfect.
Yeah, why are we trying that again? No, we're not going to do that to Jerry Stackhouse. He can maybe get a job or stay on the bench again. Our only other guy that had a job just got fired from Cincinnati, Wes Miller.
But Carolina loves to stay in the family if they can.
Do,
though.
but
it's very possible that's the reason that this took so long.
Yeah, it's true.
But they want, because you have to go outside of the family. But if you go outside of the family, it's going to be some of those crazy. It's going to be like a Lane Kiffin situation.
I'll tell you right now who they should get, and I hate it. Like, look, I'm going to tell you, this is my honest opinion. They should go after and throw as much money as they can to Nate Oates from Alabama.
So
Nate Oates at Alabama would be perfect for Carolina. That offense, if you can bring 90 points a game back to Carolina in the Dean Dome and do all that stuff in Carolina blue, you're going to get NIL money. You're going to get all the recruits, 90 points a game. He can't play a lick of defense. His teams suck on defense, but they try to outscore everybody. That would be exciting. The matchups against Duke would be exciting again. I mean, that's who I would go after if I was Carolina.
I mean, I miss the Dean Roy years. Obviously, those were the prime for me and my love of the Tar Heels and getting into college basketball. And I hate to agree with you on that one, Kyle, but I don't hate that one. It would be fun to get it back interesting and high scoring and to compete with the other team in North Carolina that likes to win things that is also blue.
Mm-hmm.
So I just sent a text. I just sent a text message to my next door neighbor, who's a big Carolina fan, and he said, "Who do you want, and who is the most likely?" So who I wanted was, for a while, I thought I wanted Mark Few, but I think he's too old. I think he's 63. He's good friends with Roy Williams. I mean, if I were Mark Few, I would. He's the one that I would think the least about leaving where they currently are. I don't see how his gig gets any better. I don't think he has to do it. He's turned down, I think, NBA jobs and stuff like that. I don't think he has to. So the person that I want, I believe I want, I don't know what I want yet, is, I don't even know his last name, the Iowa State guy, Iowa State coach, TJ
Oberholzer.
Yeah. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to have to do something. I mean, if we already have like Coach K dealing with that. So if I got another one of these, I guess Coach TJ. Somehow I'm going to get those both on a t-shirt somehow. And then what I said was, I want TJ from Iowa State. I can see Oates accepting it if asked, but I don't want another a-hole coach at Carolina at the school right now. Belichick is enough for me at the moment. So, but here's the thing, like the theory is the reason it took so long is I think they were trying to figure out where they're going to have enough money to field the team, which is crazy. First time ever somebody has said, are you going to have enough money? And I don't think the biggest donors were going to pay for it. So it kind of were handcuffed a bit, and it's not a bad handcuff because it sounded like instead of dragging something out, it was something that they kind of have to rip the Band-Aid off a little bit and just start. There are people that you have to appease because not only we're getting a whole new coach, we're getting a whole new Dean Dome. They're going to there's $1 billion stadium that's happened. They're either going to destroy the one that's there and build another one over top. It's going to be, state of the art and unbelievable, as it should be. A Dean Dome is about as historic as it can get. It's also as old as it can get. And there's just things that need to happen. It also needs to get smaller. It needs to get more intimidating like Duke is. We've got like 18,000 seats. It's not necessary. You can get a lot less than that and make it more intimidating. They also want to move it to another side of the campus as well. Right now, if you're a student, it's like a mile and a half off campus. So that trek in certain conditions, since basketball is a winter sport, rain, snow, and cold, sober or not, there's a lot of obstacles going to and from that game. So there's a proposal to put it on the south side of the campus, which actually puts it on campus, start building dorms around it. That would be kind of the future as well. Kind of the one I like a little bit, but I kind of wish you could how you move beach houses and stuff like that, off the beach a little 100 yards back. Well, let's kind of move the Dean Dome and, just plop it down there just so we say we keep the Dean Dome. It's still going to be the Dean Dome, still Roy Williams Court and all that kind of stuff. So there's going to be a lot of changes that are monumental for Carolina coming up. It's the only team that I really look forward to as like more than anything else, because the rest of my teams, for the most part, and Carolina lets me down too, but only in the most important and biggest moments. My other teams don't get to those biggest moments for the most part. So I need this to stick. Whatever it is, I need it to stick. And I need another 20-year coach. And you're right.
There you go.
Nate Oates is that guy, but oh my gosh, he is such a bad human. He's
Oh, I
such. Can we say the P word on here? Rhymes with Rick. Just add.
Yeah, you can say that.
He's a total prick. Like, I mean, he's like literally he's just an a-hole. He's a jerk. Like the things like when Carolina played Alabama last year, the year before in the tournament, like he's just a prick. He's very punchable. Very punchable.
Oh, very punchable face. Absolutely. Absolutely. But I think he would be great at Carolina. And look, I got Kentucky that's going through the exact same situation right now. Are they going to fire their coach? Are they going to keep him? Unfortunately, I think they're going to keep him. But I do think something's very interesting, and you're going to hear it here first as my theory. There's a certain team that is still in the tournament that will be taking on Duke, and that is none other than St. John's. St. John's has a very, very intriguing coach who used to also coach at Kentucky, Coach Rick Pitino. Rick Pitino signed a 3-year deal with St. John's, and then he was going to evaluate it after year 3. Well, guess what this year is at St. John's? This is year 3. So, rumor I'm floating out there for Kentucky basketball is that year 3, St. John's wins the national championship. Rick Pitino leaves St. John's, comes back home to Kentucky. Calling it now.
Well, you know what else could be available? I mean, so another person I thought that Carolina or any of these big blue bloods potentially that could be opening up. You never know when Izzo's going to decide to be sick of the NIL era. It's pretty close.
Yeah.
Kansas may come up for the same reason for the most part. It could be time Bill Self may just want to retire, which is fine. He's kind of in a position kind of like Roy Williams kind of was when he did. Florida went ahead today and signed their coach, Golden, to a 3rd extension to like some other far-off decade, almost like
it's like 2042 or something like that. It's
yeah,
crazy.
like it's to a far-off land somewhere that probably 3 years after the zombie apocalypse. But he signed through that, so he's not going anywhere. So the buyout to get him to agree somewhere would be too stupid even for one of the other blue bloods to play.
Yeah,
because that's what they're thinking with Hubert. It makes like $5 million. Do you pay that and you pay that off or whatever he's got plus any fees you got to pay to your incoming coach, or do you throw $30 million at the or $22 million? I'll use that number, $22 million at the program, and then hope it works and then it not work.
Christy, you know why he's throwing that number out there, right?
No.
Because that is the assumed projected salary that Kentucky had in their NIL this year.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah. It's assumed. It's not guaranteed. Nobody knows for sure how much they actually spent. But that's the rumor, is that it was $22 million. Which, by the way, wasn't the most in college basketball this
I was
year.
saying I didn't think that was the most. So why is that such a big deal?
Because
they were so bad.
Yeah. I mean,
it's so underperformed.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
How about that? I'll say underperformed.
They underperformed.
Hey, they gave me 2 heart attacks on was that Friday or Thursday that they played?
That was on Friday.
Thursday.
Friday.
Yep, Friday.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Friday first game. First game was a hell of a thing.
Back-to-back heart. I've never heard a bar collectively, like, nobody overextended their cheer or scream or howl. Like, everybody was like a 2-second, and then you had the 3-second gap, and then 2 seconds again, and it was just like, I don't think I've ever been that wide-eyed in my life. I was like, what just happened? And I turned around and I was like, oh.
Well, sitting right two seats down from Kyle, in the bar, Santa Clara makes the shot and everybody cheers. They were cheering.
They were at my bar too.
Kentucky hit it. They were just yelling like, whoa, what was that? But Kyle got the last laugh on Friday for sure. But
I did.
Yeah. And we discussed that. Remember, we discussed that. I was like, pretty sure everyone behind us is cheering with that shot. For sure it was against Kyle.
Yep, 100%. And look, let me just clear the air on this too. The Siena coach, yes, he did attempt to call timeout, but the ball was already inbounded. So the way the rule states is that if the ball is in the other team's hands, that opposing coach cannot call timeout. Kentucky had already taken the ball to inbound it. They could not call timeout at that point. Number one. Number two, if you're going to try to get a ref's attention to call timeout, maybe not try to get the ref that's already running down the court. Go to the guy on the baseline that's stationary. Maybe go to him.
Yeah, don't run
That
after
probably
the
would have
guy
made
whose
more sense.
back is to you.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
you misspoke a little bit, but it brings up another point. You said Siena. It was Santa Clara. Siena also made the biggest bonehead play I've ever seen in my life. It was a 40-minute bonehead play against Duke, the number one overall team in the country. And you played your starting five for 40 full minutes, not one single sub the entire time. At no point in basketball at any level is that acceptable. At the YMCA, in middle school, high school, college, you can't do that. You can't do that. You will fail, and that's how. And that's actually also the same way that Carolina failed and blew a 19-point lead against VCU. They are super athletic, and if you what you have to do is you have to prevent them just from not sucking. And all you did was you encouraged them just to be mediocre. They ran right around us everywhere we wanted to be. Got all the rebounds, all the loose balls. Our shots weren't falling because you're too gassed. Arms were all noodles. Whole thing. Just down the crapper.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Now Jerry McNamara, though, has parlayed that into the head coaching job at Syracuse. So
that I do like, and I am very happy about that. It would be interesting if Carmelo Anthony's son stayed, although I think he was pissed that he didn't get any playing time this year with the current regime. But you never know. Maybe he'll stay because he and Carmelo were teammates for a year.
Yeah, they were pretty tight. Yep. So if you had to go out on a limb right now, who's winning the national championship with the teams that are left?
I mean, my original one was Arizona. I thought it was going to be Arizona versus Florida. Lost a lot of brackets, lost a lot of money, and lost a lot of confidence in that side because I needed another powerhouse like Florida to try and fend off Duke, which is who they would play in the Final Four. Really needed that to be there. But I still think Arizona's got it if they can keep their stuff together.
Yeah, I'm gonna agree. I picked Arizona last week. That was one of my top three. I'm definitely sticking with them, and I'm still same as you. Anyone but Duke. That's all I care about. Anyone but Duke.
Yep.
So ironically, this is one thing Paul and I agreed on. I had Arizona versus Florida in the final in one of my brackets because I thought the same thing. But things have changed, and I am going to go out on a limb. I think St. John's does beat Duke, and I think knocks them out. Because look, let's be honest, Duke got lucky against Siena. Now, Jerry McNamara did that all year. Like, he played his starters 40 minutes before, but not against the caliber of team of Duke, right? So that's where the downfall happened, as you said. Having said that,
but you better not. They better not try that crap at Syracuse. You can't do that. You will not get recruits.
Correct.
You will not get money.
Well, I don't think they're going to have to at Syracuse because I think their team is going to be deeper than what it was at Siena. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think there's a lot of good teams, and look, I think the intriguing matchup for me is the Nebraska Sweet 16 game. Two Big Ten, basically like former Big Ten schools that are like football schools going at it in basketball against each other. I believe it's Nebraska and Iowa, if I'm not mistaken, right? That's going to be interesting. And they play swarming defense and everything else. And you got Fred Hoiberg over there on Nebraska sideline with Fred Hoiberg Jr., who can't look any different than his dad. Like, he looks completely different. Wears a headband. He's like jacked and everything. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. So Steve came over on Saturday night and watched that Nebraska game with us and gained a sworn enemy in Fred Hoiberg's son. I don't think he's ever been as involved in a basketball game or maybe invested as he was in that one, and he left upset for sure.
Fair enough.
As he's nodding vehemently over here, like, yes.
his quote was, "He's like, I think I see why you guys get into basketball so much. Some of these games." I'm like, yeah, these things are intense. That game against Vanderbilt was ridiculous.
It was.
And then
Absolutely was.
I get a text from Mike and I's roommate our junior year, who was from Tennessee, and he says, "Oh, their point guard, that badass point guard that Vanderbilt's got, went to the same high school as my kids do." So he's from right there in Nashville, Las Vegas.
That's crazy.
So.
Crazy stuff.
Well, I think it's about that time that we. This has been one of the best conversations I've had. The fewest amount of people, ties the fewest amount of people, but the best conversation. So, see if we keep that rolling. So, in our latest,
I think that was a
episode
compliment to us, Christy. I think that was his way of complimenting us.
Like,
that was a very nice thing of him to say.
I was like, I want to take that as a compliment and say thank you, but I didn't want to ruin the moment.
But it came from Paul, so I didn't know if it was a compliment. I was waiting for like the punchline there,
right?
Like,
the other shoe to drop.
It's a Philly fan, so we all know they suck. So I thought it was going to be something like that, but no, he stayed true. So
no, it doesn't suck. You suck because of your face.
There it is.
In the latest episode of Lame or Gain, in honor of the fact that we've got opening day coming. Did he get trivia with it? Did he, being myself, did he digs? It's just trivia.
I'm still waiting for where the dig is.
Well, I didn't say it was like supposed to be a dig. It rhymes. Somebody that I saw play here in Richmond that eventually got to the Braves. Fortunately, played for another rival team in the division, but later. But that's all right. Didn't matter at that point. So we have Dave Justice. Love me some Dave Justice.
That's a gain, 100%.
I was always a big fan of Dave Justice too. I gotta admit,
the
fact that he was married to Holly Berry for a while too, that scores some points as well. Yeah,
I got a baseball of his too that I'm staring at also, but that wasn't from one of the recent things. But yeah, so in honor of baseball, won't be the last baseball item, that's for sure, and probably not the last Braves. But
I gotta say, growing up and you saw him and Griffey hitting home runs, and like they both had sweet swing. Nothing's greater than Griffey's swing, but Dave Justice had a pretty swing. It was a really pretty swing.
It's smooth. Like one of the same kind of, like, I guess, quick ones. I guess he didn't hit as high as Griffey does, where he can hit so high, and then he almost, like, when he's done with the bat, it's almost like it's on the barrels on the ground, like it's a cane. Like he's literally almost got like that. But yeah, I think they were a little bit similar to that. But yeah, I mean, the Kids was the greatest swing I've ever seen in my life.
But Dave Justice was a I think he was underappreciated in the field, man. He had a cannon for an arm. He really did. So
I loved that Braves team. That David Justice jersey is what got me kicked out of my grandma's house, because she had the conniption about the Braves leaving Milwaukee overnight, and I walked in with a David Justice jersey, and she said I couldn't come back in the house until I took it off, because those Braves were. Yeah. My grandma was.
That's great.
My grandma was hardcore. She was like, "The Braves got up and left overnight. Don't you dare ever wear that in my house. Take that off."
Wasn't that like 1957 or something random? Like, wasn't it? It's been a. What year was that? It wasn't. It was a minute ago, right?
Yeah. A long time.
I was like in the 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it was before I was born. But she still holds it against him, and God rest her soul, she's not with us anymore. But she hated the Braves and would not even let me in the house. She's like, "Turn around and walk right back out. Put something else on."
Wow.
All right, Granny.
That's aggressive. I like it.
I mean,
she stood her
I like
ground.
a good granny. I like a good granny that'll stand on business.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And she was like,
gotta be a true fan.
410 on a good day.
Even better.
Awesome.
Don't mess with Granny.
What's the matchup and that everybody's looking for the most in college basketball the rest of the week? I think the one that Kyle already hit on, the one that I think should matter to the America the most, because we're all anti-Duke fans and in heart. So I think I think that's a great matchup. I think there's a couple other ones, but I think that's probably the best.
I mean,
matchup.
Houston, Illinois on Thursday night should be a good game, but it tips off at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Like, I don't know that I can stay up that late, but I probably will because I'm a degenerate. Tennessee, Iowa State, like all these Sweet 16 games. Alabama, Michigan should be a good game. Michigan
I think
State, UConn.
Arizona. Arkansas was playing really good at the
Yeah,
end of the SEC. So
yep,
yeah,
yep. But yeah,
but there's
I
only
think
one
hands
result that
down
matters.
St. John's Duke is the game, and go ahead and say it. I'll tee it up for you. But the only result that matters for all of us is that
Duke loses.
Duke loses.
That's it. That's it.
And that's how this needs to end. That is going to be the final word for us here on this episode. Couldn't agree. I don't know if we've ever been in that much agreement before, but I mean, I'm about to cry with how good it feels. I have a lot of letdowns over the last couple of days with what Carolina and Florida did to me, mentally and financially. So I appreciate you both hopping on there. Hopefully we learn some about F1 and can be more intelligent so that we can have informed conversations, engagement with Christy as you teach us. So
I'm
looking forward to that as the season goes on.
Also, pay attention to your cornhole partners. You never know what they're going to do and who they actually are.
Yeah,
you got to be
Don't
nice
talk crap to your cornhole.
Never count anybody out on their ability to drive a car, use a gun, or throw a cornhole.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And listen, you never know how far a high five will actually go, right? So every now and then, give somebody a high five or a high elbow.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it used to be like, tell the, be nice to the nerds in high school because they'll be your boss. Nope. Those are the ones that